Welcome, everybody, back to the Gangrene Chronicles podcast. This is episode 2, where we'll be talking about the New York Jets and the NFL draft just a little over a few weeks away. I'm Luca and Vinny. To my right or to my left, however you may see him, is Vinny Massical, my co-host. And I'll start with Vinny. Your first thoughts and a little opening about the NFL draft and things like that.
Well, it's not the deepest draft for certain positions. It's not definitely not a deep quarterback draft. Um, Probably one of the weaker drafts that I've seen. Um, but there are good. I mean, there are good guys, and there are guys that if you pick them maybe later, you might get good value for them. But other than that, we're talking about the Jets here. We're talking about you know that 7 pick is going to be important, and then the
Oh,
second
yeah.
round is going to be. I mean, they're all going to be important, but I think who you get in the first round, I think you'll be able to find out after maybe rounds 1 and 2 what they're trying to do. But we'll see. It's going to be kind of a crapshoot. I've got some things as far as I mean, I don't know when we do our mock. Are we adding trades, or are
We
we
could
just
do
doing
trades.
straight? Or
We could do some trades.
okay,
Obviously,
okay,
logistically made sense. Like, we're not going
yeah,
to trade back all the time, obviously, but what
no, of course not.
logistically makes sense with, we're being the Jets GMs, obviously, at the time. We'll evaluate, okay, if this player's available here, why would I trade back? All these different things, but we're not going to do
Mhm.
too many trade backs. We'll be realistic about it.
Right, right.
So the Jets have plenty of holes, as we mentioned in our first show regarding free agency, and there's still some holes that have not been filled that we need to fill in the draft. Obviously, if you are a competent NFL team, you build through the draft. Free agency is only supplementary. But what I think, Vinny, in my opinion, I'm not saying this has to be the entire draft. Offense, 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 I think has to be not only the mindset with most of this draft overall, started out with offense at number 7, also collect one at 42. So, for a reference point, here are the Jets draft picks in this draft. They have about, I think, 8, if I'm not mistaken. Round 1, they have 7th overall. Round 2, they have 42nd overall. Round 3, they have 73rd overall. Round 4, they have 110. Round 5, I believe they have 2 picks. I think it's 145 and 162. 162 actually was passed around a little bit. The Rams traded that to the Steelers for Kevin Dotson, and then the Steelers traded that to the Jets for Mike Williams. Round 6, pick 186, and their final pick, round 6, pick 207, which was used in the infamous McCole Hardman trade in 2023. So the Jets, I think, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 selection. I was right. Vinny, your thoughts on the Jets? I said basically the opening thoughts, a little bit about the Jets, but what are your thoughts? Obviously, we have a lot of offense to cover and a lot of prospects with plenty of evaluation prospects at 7. I think the Jets have left themselves where they could be very versatile at 7. They have a lot of flexibility. They could go tackle, they could go tight end, they could go wide receiver. Somewhat the defensive line, like a Mason Graham, which I'm not in that party for, but if you want, you could open up a little bit and talk more about, some prospects you like. We'll start with this. Who do you want mostly at 7? Who do you not want at 7?
I mean, I definitely want Tyler Warren at 7. Um, that
Amen to that.
that's a now. Here's the other thing. I
Mhm.
do like Tet McMillan.
Yes.
I wouldn't be upset
Hmm.
if he fell that far, which it kind of looks like he may. Um, Especially if like if you look at the first, okay, look at you know Tennessee's going to take Cam, right? He's going to take
Yes.
Cam Ward. Now it's going to that number 2 pick is going to be big for Cleveland, because if they take, like, let's say they take either Shador or they take Abdul Carter, I think, and if it goes like this, it may go. The Patriots take the tackle at 4, Membu, and
Yeah.
then Jacksonville takes Hunter at 5. The only thing that I can see is the Raiders messing it up and taking Tet or taking, but you know, and I don't know if they're going to take Mason Graham at 6.
Mm,
So it's kind of going to be the Raiders. Is gonna depend. I think that's going to be the big factor as to who we get at 7. So
absolutely.
either one that falls to us, either Warren or Tet, I would take at 7. Mason Graham, great player. I think he's going to be a good player. Um, you know, they um, they graded his run play rate at 32.4, which was pretty good. It was very good in college football. He led all of college football in that rating, um, but I don't know. I mean, and then Jalen Walker. I don't want the linebacker because I mean we already have, we're already having a hard enough time figuring out. I mean, our last video, if you haven't
Yeah.
watched it yet, please do. We were talking about linebackers. I don't want to take another linebacker at
No.
that early. And then the rest is kind of like, I mean, you're not going to take a running back at 7. You're not going to take
No.
John T at 7. You have, you've already got two good running backs. So I think that the pick has to be either Warren or Tet. And but I mean, you may disagree. I don't know, but and other people may disagree. If you do, say it in the comments. Maybe
Absolutely.
maybe I'm just have closed thinking. I just want this guy, but I just think offense is the way to go in this draft.
I think so too. With a lot of obviously, it talks about a lot of the holes and deficiencies. The Jets still have a hole in their offensive line. And let me ask you this: if you said Armand Membu, you think he's going to get picked by New England? What if he's there at 7? Would you take him?
I mean, you can't go wrong with another tackle. That's
Right.
that's the thing. I probably that's a tough. I didn't. You kind of put me on the spot with that one because I might, but again, I think we need another playmaker in the offense because you can't just go with Garrett Wilson and then hope that like a second round, third round, or fourth round pick. I think Warren or Tet are going to be like no brainers. I think
Yeah.
they're going to start day one and they're going to take off. And I know Membu probably would too, but I just don't know if. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at them for going with the tackle because I think it's more the safe pick.
Yeah.
But man, I guess maybe I just want Warren or Tet in that order more than I
Absolutely.
want the tackle.
That's
Maybe
fair.
that's just the way I want it to be. But again, I wouldn't blame him if they took Membu if he drops that far to take him. So
Absolutely. And we obviously took Olu for Shano last year. Some Jet fans were not happy. Basically, Brock
oh,
Bowers should have been the pick, and the
I think
infamous Bowers boys on Twitter. But you were about to say something.
I think they're glad that we took him after what happened with our free agency signing at left tackle last year.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention his name, but the big guy from Dallas.
Yeah, he didn't
I
work
know
out.
I know who he is, but I'm
Yeah,
not gonna mention his name because I don't.
neither am I. Jets fans, Jets fans, you already know. You already know. But I am in the same boat with you. I want a playmaker. I think the Jets are devoid of playmakers. It's just because you draft one now, also as well, doesn't stop you from drafting a guy in the third, fourth, or
Right,
fifth round. I
right.
think you could go maybe double, even triple wide receivers. That's the same thing with the tight end position, in my opinion, as well. If you go Tyler Warren at 7, doesn't mean it stops you from going round 3 or round 4 tight end for like the blocking purposes. Because
Right.
I think you need like at least 2 tight ends in this draft. I'm not a fan of Jeremy Rucker. I thought he was going to be something last year. I thought he could have broke out, but he didn't. He's been
Right,
such a disappointment.
right. I mean, there's good tight ends back in the later like Jackson
Oh
Hawes
yeah,
can be a guy. Um, Gunnar Helm. I mean, I love that name
absolutely.
by the way. There's guys back further that you can get at tight end, but I just think Warren is above those guys. Don't
Absolutely.
you think so? Like, I mean, Luke Lachey, very good. But I don't know, man. I just think that you got like Luke Lachey has his weaknesses. He struggles
Yeah.
to separate. He gets pushed around in the run game. I mean, do we want that on our team? I mean, no,
No.
I don't want that. But you know, I just think if you get the tight end this year, I think you got to go tight end because you're going to plug him in. He's going to be plug and play. You're going to plug him in, and he's going to be good for years to come, right?
Absolutely.
So you're not going to have to. There's a position you're not going to have to worry about.
Yeah, and I was actually debating this with a friend of mine, Johnny Boy, who does his Jets podcast of his own. I forget the name. I apologize, Johnny. But we were debating this exact subject about Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, first of all, is my A pick. I absolutely love him. A lot of people were talking in November, December, like Tyler Warren's the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy. He's breaking all these records, all these different things. All I had to watch was that Boise State game. I was like, wow,
Right,
this dude is a magnet for the ball.
Yeah,
He
that Boise State game he showed out in that game for
Yeah,
sure.
he's a rare specimen. And just to add some things as well, he set multiple Penn State records for seasonal and overall career receptions. I believe at Penn State, even receiving yards as well. Because you remember, I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the last good tight ends they had, if I'm not mistaken, was Mike Gesicki. He
Mike
did
Gesicki,
a
right,
he did a pretty good job over there too.
right.
But with overall thing with Warren, he's 22. He would obviously be the starting tight end for the Jets. 23 by the start of the season. Penn State, he's 6'5.5". To me, like his body size is not archetypical of the basic tight end you see. He's not a Kelsey or a Goddard. He is more like if you're a 2000s fan, Jeremy Shockey or a Dallas Clark kind of guy.
So here are some of the weaknesses that PFF has down. He's a bit stiffer when changing direction, which limits his route tree. So you can't give him a lot of routes because he just it seems like he can't run a lot of the routes.
Mm-hmm.
Top speed takes a handful of steps to get to. Good strength as a run blocker, but could hold blocks a bit longer. Okay, that's not really. I mean, yeah, okay.
It's more probably from a technical aspect.
It's more technical, but could tempo his routes to create bigger throw windows versus zone. So here's the things: a lot of these things can be coached.
Oh yeah,
technically. A lot of the other weaknesses I saw in the other tight ends and some of the other players, there's some things that, and they comp him to Dallas Clark. Wouldn't you love to have a guy
absolutely
like Dallas Clark in this offense?
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, man. I would take that,
10 times out of 10.
10 times out of 10.
And when was the last time, let's be honest, what was the last Jets reliable tight end? I mean, I like Tyler Conklin, to be fair, but if we're being honest, I don't think he was utilized correctly. But if you really want to go back, I think it's Dustin Keller.
Dustin Keller definitely. I mean, granted, we haven't had a lot of great tight ends in this offense. I mean, I think in my day it was Mickey Schuler back in the day.
Yes, Mickey Schuler.
And then you go to Dustin Keller. And a lot of the free agent tight ends we signed, other than Conklin, didn't really work out for us.
No.
So when you go the free agency route at tight end, you're not always going to get something strong there. If you build your own, if you get a player in the draft like this, I think you just got to take him. You got to take him.
Absolutely. And, it wasn't just Mickey Schuler and Dustin Keller. Also, you had some years with Anthony Becht, Chris
You
Baker,
did. Anthony Becht.
Kyle Brady, obviously was picked over Warren Sapp. We won't get into that. But also as well, like I was having the debate, as I mentioned, with Johnny Boy, and Johnny Boy's like, well, there's other tight ends in this draft, because I made the argument for against defensive line, because we've invested so many years and we've invested a lot of capital in the defensive line. Quinnen Williams, not only a first-round pick, but at a hefty extension. I personally don't think he's lived up to that. But anyways, Will McDonald, first-round pick. Jermaine Johnson, trade up, first-round pick. So that you've spent a majority of assets. Also, even though he's not on the team anymore, Hassan Reddick, you traded for him. Mm-hmm. And overall, just this team has spent a lot of assets on the defensive line, where you could do that in round 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Like there's plenty of defensive linemen in this draft. But the overall, what Johnny Boy's point was he only has 1 year of really good production. It's not like it was over a span, because he's also a big Georgia fan, where he said Brock Bowers showed out a little more consistently.
Right. I mean, and you do have like again, there's tight end, there's Arroyo, there's Brenningstool, there's
Mason
Evans,
Taylor.
There's there's Fanon Jr., there's Ferguson. I mentioned Hawes and Helm and Lachey. There's Colston Loveland, Caden Priscorn, and Mason Taylor, and then Benjamin Urasek. So there's guys that you can get and in later rounds, but I don't think they're going to have the impact that Tyler Warren's going to have.
I honestly think Tyler Warren would be a home run. Vinny did a great job bringing up the weakness in his game, but his strengths, as I said, he's set several Penn State records,
Mhm.
and he also led, I believe, the Big Ten in receptions this year. He's also a dual threat. You're seeing sometimes, I don't know if the Eagles did this with Goddard, but you're seeing the Chiefs run the ball with Kelsey.
Right,
What if the
right,
Jets could do that with
right,
Justin Fields and
right.
Tyler Warren?
Yeah,
How fun would
yeah.
that be?
That would be fun. The only knock again is like it takes them a little longer to get
Yeah.
to get up to get that speed up. So I don't know if he becomes like that. I don't know, fullback type guy. That I don't, but I don't know. They're going to run a lot of you know two running back sets in the backfield, or I don't know what the offense is going to look like because I don't
Yeah,
know the offensive coordinator. So
exactly.
that's
I
going to
mean,
be that'll be interesting.
it's going to be a huge question mark. And another big thing when it comes to his strengths, refuses to go down on first contact. He plays like a demon. He's also lineup versatile, as I mentioned. You could run the ball with him. Not all the time, obviously. He can line up in the slot. He can line up in line. He can line up out wide. He can line up as a fullback. So, like, the lineup versatility of a tight end of his caliber is just
Hmm.
amazing. And to me, as I said, Jets need playmakers.
Right,
Justin Fields also needs a safety blanket, quite
right,
frankly.
right.
Why not? And then I'm not trying to degrade Tyler Warren, but wouldn't he be like the best safety blanket and above for
Well,
Justin
yeah,
Fields?
because also he's got a very huge, he's got a big catch radius. So a lot of those
Yes.
balls, like if he's like let's say Justin Fields is off by like an inch or two, he might be able to go out and catch that ball where some tight ends may not. Also his hands, he's got strong hands too. He
Yeah.
had a very high catch percentage in last year. So um, I mean, he could play inline, and he's a good blocker. He held up pretty well against power and a lot of defensive ends last year. So again, and he can go inline, he can go wing back or full back. So versatile, very versatile. You're right. Um, I think that's what he brings, and I think that's what we can definitely
Like,
use that.
absolutely. I don't want to say like he's a unicorn, but
No, he's not. He's not. No.
he was a little bit uncanny for the tight end position, especially when you look at how he plays. Like as we mentioned, Dallas Clark, Jeremy
Right,
Shockey, more of a flashback to the 2000s. But we
right.
talked Tyler Warren. Let's get into Ted McMillan. As you said, you would like him as an option. I would like him as an option too. He's more of an outside receiver. He's 22 years old, coming out of Arizona, 6'4", 219 pounds on his pro day, which some people, some critics, he silenced. Ran a 4.46. A lot of people didn't like that. He lacks fluidity at times, isn't the most shifty receiver, not the most fast, but he has a really good catch radius, size at 6'4", also has solid body control. And most people compare him to Drake London. So
There's another player comp, AJ Green.
absolutely, I was considering
Um,
thinking about that, but I was like,
AJ
I don't know
Green's
how
another
obvious that would
guy,
be.
and his strengths outweigh his weaknesses. I mean, if you look at his height stands out. A lot of the technical stuff that you look for, hips, agility is better than expected for the size that he is.
Hmm.
His acceleration for his size is big. Um, you don't see a lot of false steps when he releases from the line of scrimmage.
Hmm.
And he's very comfortable in maximizing. He's got a very big, again, like I said with Warren, he's got a nice catch radius. So again, if some of those balls maybe they're uncatchable by some receivers, it's not that bad. But his weaknesses are like slender build,
Yeah,
which can impact blocking. Well, I mean, okay, granted, you could I could take that out of there, and okay, maybe he's not a good blocker. All right, I'll
right.
take that. Likely won't be a consistent separator versus single coverage. That may be a problem.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know though. I would take a guy like AJ Green any day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So his strengths outweigh his weaknesses for sure, and that's why I definitely, other than taking like if I mean obviously if I don't even know even if Travis Hunter were to follow us,
Right.
I mean, which I don't think he will. Um, then you have another problem of what do you do with a guy like Travis Hunter as
Yeah.
far as like, do you play him at corner? Do you play him at wide receiver? Do you mix? Because in the NFL, it's going to be different than college.
Oh, of course.
He's
Of
not going
course.
to be able to play both every single down, right? So you're going to have to make up your mind as to how many more snaps he's going to play at what position, you know?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah,
I'd be I'd as the same sentiment as you, Vinny. I'd be stunned if Travis Hunter was there. And people who I've read up some articles. I've read, Frankie V, who does a great job at U Stadium. Maybe we'll hope to have him on the pod. He said he looked at the tape. He's like, I think Travis Hunter's a receiver, not a cornerback, and he has that speed. And
I
it's
see
funny
that.
because I was watching I was watching, I think, a YouTube channel called the 2 Minute Report. Funny, his comparison as a receiver was Garrett Wilson. I was like, interesting. But I will add, though, aside from Travis Hunter, we do need a big body receiver on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, speed is great and all. Garrett Wilson, route runnings, and Malachi Corley, yards after the catch. We need a guy with height. We really don't have that right now. Devontae Adams was that guy. Obviously, we cut him since. Now he's with the Rams. But we need, the NFL and, receivers and all that. It's not always about speed. Ted McMillan would make money in the end zone. He would be awesome. So he's like more of my 2 in terms of a plan, or 2 or 3. Depends if, obviously Membu's there and whatnot.
Right.
But I also want to get to another receiver, and maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. Matthew Golden has been rising up the ranks of what could be an option for the Jets.
Yes. 6 foot 195. Again, a guy that doesn't block well. He's kind of hot and cold when he knows he's not involved. He's like, and the player comp, which is pretty interesting, is Stephon Diggs. So when they said his weakness is he runs a little hot and cold when he doesn't knows he's not involved, that's Stephon Diggs exactly, really. When he's not involved in the game, he gets very talkative on the sideline. He gets very, and they also say that he has movement skills to be more dynamic. He has the movement skills to be more dynamic after the catch. So I don't know if that's a weakness. They kind of listed as so I'm guessing he's better after the catch than dynamic, running a route. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of but again, he also is a good returner, they say. He's a fast, controlled route runner. Footwork off the line is quick and decisive. Excellent sideline receiver with great footwork. Inside out versatility as a slot and a flanker, which would be good because then if you pair him with Garrett, you could put him in the slot or put him, but you could also do the same with Garrett, put him in the slot or put him on the outside. So then you have a lot more flexibility with these two guys. So yeah, I mean, I definitely could see where he would go. But I think I don't know how much the blocking part and then the hot and cold part become that big because receivers are divas anyway. So
exactly, we know that.
If receivers aren't, and that's a lot of receivers that are like that. So I don't know how that weakness really isn't really.
That's kind of a continuity throughout the NFL, and some also things about Matthew Golden. You mentioned the height and the size. Ranked the best in the combine with speed, 4.29 40 time. As we said, elite speed, good field for routes, and manipulating defensive backs. Vinny mentioned his versatility to line up as a flanker. He can also line up the X, the Y, and the Z. Yak ability and acceleration. He has suffered a few injuries in the college, but I think they've been relatively minor. One of his problems was concentration drops, about 13 in the last 3 seasons. We mentioned the run blocking. So
I'm interested. I'm interested to see those games that he concentration-wise, how much he was involved in the game. Because talking about how, he's hot and cold when involved, maybe that kind of deals with that part of it. If he does lose concentration and because that's one thing Steph Diggs doesn't do is lose concentration.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like if he's going to lose concentration because he's not involved, I mean, there may be games where he doesn't get involved with our offense.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know if I don't know 7. I don't know because like I said, if he's there, it's if Tet or again if the Warren is there at 7, I don't know if you go anywhere else. But yeah, I mean Golden, I wouldn't be angry if you picked him, but if Warren or Ted are there, I would be.
Yeah, it would be certainly a little bit questionable. I think he's more of an outside pick. I think he's more of a trade back scenario, if you want my honest opinion,
Right, right.
just as an outside shot. But another receiver whose stock, interestingly, seems to be falling. But I will say before we get to this receiver, I've seen some pro comparisons to Matthew Golden. One of them being in our own division was Jalen Waddle, and one of
Mhm.
them being a former Jet was Santana Moss.
Right, right.
So go ahead. I think
Yeah,
you're about to say something.
Santana Moss was a steady receiver for us. But again, he was, you know, he did talk a lot if he didn't get if he didn't get the ball thrown to him, or so yeah, but again, that's most receivers anyway, so it's not really
Yeah.
that's not really a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of a nothing burger. But the
Yeah.
receiver I've been talking about that's been dropping a lot lately, Luther Burden, out of Missouri, 21 years old. He's projected to be a slot receiver at the next level, 6'0", 106 pounds, 441 40-yard dash. Strengths, weaknesses, strengths, versatile in which plays can be ran from, elite speed and yak ability. But he lacks as a route runner and is also not great in and out of his breaks. Some people comparing to a Golden Tate. Vinny, you have any thoughts on Luther Burden?
Player comp Debo.
That's what it was another podcast that said
Yeah.
that. It was very interesting enough.
Doesn't always attack the ball in the air. So that 50-50 ball, I mean, I know he's only 5'11", but that might not, but and then in the blocking game, it says that he gets pushed around a little bit more. So again, another non-blocking wide receiver, but again, he has all the traits. I mean, his route running, his vertical, his long, his speed, his footwork, his hands. Maybe he didn't show out in the combine, but
Yeah.
I think he's an athlete though. I mean, he's one of those guys that you line him up in the slot or at flanker. He's going to be an athlete for you. So, you can never, but maybe like this guy might be like a second round guy, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know, or maybe even a third round guy. I don't think I don't know if he's a first round guy, but yeah, as you said, he was falling a little bit. So, maybe they saw something in him at the combine they didn't like. So,
yeah, maybe it was before or after, something like that.
yeah.
But we went through all the weapons mostly. I haven't done much research, and I think this would be mostly a guy who you would trade back to the 20s, maybe even the teens. Do you have anything on Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Great, great.
So they compare him to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
They're saying he's quick and controlled, high separate. He has very high separation scores because of his elite body and speed control. Willing and feisty blocker, so he's definitely a little bit better of a blocker. He's very high IQ, and he knows how to attack and find space. Good balance through contact for yards after the catch. Okay. Weaknesses can just be inconsistent as a blocker. So, whereas they say he's like feisty and willing, he's not as good at it.
Probably not technically sound.
Not technically sound, right. Lack of size does limit his blocking abilities again against linebackers, and his route breaks could be sharper. So, but that again, things like that about route breaks, those can be coached.
Yeah.
Like you get a good wide receivers coach, and they see his route breaks getting, not as sharp as they should be. He'll get that. But yeah, I mean, he seems like he'd be okay. If you want a few stats on him, I've got some 3-year data. As far as PFF, they graded him. His grade went down from 2022. In 2022, they graded him at 83.1. He went down in 23 to 72.9, but then went back up again at 79.5. But he only played 256 snaps in 23, whereas he played in 22. He played 383 snaps in last year, 402. Yards per reception went down, although from 2022 from 15.6 to 12.5. And then his touchdowns equaled 2022.
Mhm.
But he got less snaps in 23. So I don't know if maybe that's an outlier. So he had 10 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, he was also in 23. He was playing with a less efficient, less, I guess you could say better if that was a term, Kyle
Mhm.
McCord. McCord played better at Syracuse. He was not
Right.
great at Ohio State
So
whatsoever.
so PFF has this stable metrics, which are
Okay.
reliable indicators of future success than others. He ranks high in open target percentage
Mm-hmm.
and separation percentage versus single coverage, which I mentioned in, I think it was Golden. Was it Golden about single coverage or was it somebody else about separation? He ranks pretty high in that. So if he's
Mm.
single covered, he will get separated from that corner. And he's 78. This is ranked out of 100. So he's 78 yards per run, 69 versus zone, which is average, not great.
Mm.
And then his receiving grade versus single coverage. So he's a better single coverage receiver than a zone receiver. So I
That's
don't know.
interesting.
Yeah. So um, and teams, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say if you're playing a zone team, he may not play as well as if he's playing against single coverage. So I mean, he's only had his rank in drops, um, not great. He was tied for
Mm.
32nd in drops. His drop rate, he was 25th ranked in drops. 24th in rack. I mean, no, I guess actually that's top half, I would think.
Mm.
Um, and then as far as average depth of target, 42, deep catches tied for 31, deep yards 32, and screens, he was on a lot of screens, so he was 10th in screens and third in screen yards. So and then tied for 8th in contested catches. So
Gotcha, gotcha.
yeah.
And we talked about we're kind of in the receiver realm here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the scenario, just a scenario, let's just say Tyler Warren is somehow not at 7. I don't think he will not be. I think he
Mm-hmm.
will be there. Is there anything you have on Colston Loveland? I haven't done my work on him.
Colston Loveland. Yes, I do. I mentioned him. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get down here. Colston Loveland. Yes. So 6'5", 245. He's comped to Tyler Eifert. I don't know if you remember the old
Yes,
Cincinnati
I
tight
do.
end.
Old Notre
Um,
Dame tight end as well. I remember
Old Notre
Eifert. He
Dame.
had a Pro
Yeah.
Bowls year, and I think it was 2015. He was good before he got hurt.
So yeah, they comp him to Eifert, and so strengths, very impressive athlete, even for a lighter tight end.
Hmm.
He's got long arms, just like Warren. The big catch radius. Natural pass catcher, crisp routes with good juice, scrappy pound for pound blocker, which is good for a tight end, obviously. Solid blocker, but lacks true size to handle defensive ends. That's one of the weaknesses. And then lower than ideal contested catch percentage in 24, and could be more creative after the catch. So I'm guessing his yards after catch isn't great.
It's probably suboptimal, I guess, by that
Yeah.
sound.
So that's kind of what we got on Colston Loveland.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a bad option because we need weapons like
No, I
any
mean maybe a later round pick. I mean
late
he was
first round.
really bad. He was really bad against zone. That stable metrics that I gave you. He was 33rd against 33% against zone,
Ooh.
but 73 on single coverage. So and didn't get a lot of separation in single coverage either. So, but his separation percentage overall was really good. So I don't know, but yards per route run 92. And again, these are metrics that are more reliable for future success. So
Yeah,
take them with a grain of salt. So we'll but seems like a good second, third round tight end,
yeah, probably
maybe not in
something
the
like
first
that.
round. I don't think I don't know, but again, if if Warren isn't there, Tet would have to be there, wouldn't he?
Oh, of course. I think
So
that would have to be the case.
so then I would actually bypass the tight end and probably pick a tight end in the later round. I mean
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
in that scenario. And as I said, I would be open to drafting 2 receivers. I would be open to drafting 2 tight ends because we need
Right,
weapons. But
right.
I have a tackle prospect that I want to go over real quick. I don't know if you
Sure.
have like any other tackle or defensive line prospect that you might want to go over as an option at 7. But this one, for
Yeah.
me, at least what I want to do is this tackle prospect you get taken the second or third round, honestly.
Right.
And
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Who do you got?
Ozzie Trapilo out of Boston College. Let me pull up his scouting report. It's actually done by either Alex or my good buddy Brian, because we were down at the Senior Bowl. We actually got to do an interview with him.
Yep.
So Trapilo is graded as a third-round prospect, 6'7", 321 pounds out of Boston College, 78 overall grade. In 2024, 2 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, 12 quarterback hurries, and 772 snaps. They graded out some of his trades, or I should say Alex O'Brien graded out some of his trades. Strengths: highly smooth, light-footed, and fluid, especially for his size, making him effective in vertical pass sets and mirroring defenders. Strong ability to handle finesse rushers with quick feet, a smooth kick slide, and effective redirection skills. Once he locks on, he can neutralize rushers entirely. He's a forceful run blocker, using his size to move defenders off the ball and creating gouging lanes. Effective in combo blocks, showing awareness to adapt to late defensive shifts and maintain effectiveness at the second level. Demonstrates ability to latch and sustain blocks, mainly when hand placement is on point. And if we're talking about a Jets team that's going to be running the football this year, I think this is your guy personally. But some of his weaknesses as well: hands can be inconsistent, occasionally late or soft with his punch, can allow compact rushers to disrupt his high cut frame and collapse the pocket. He also lacks elite strike power, limits ability to neutralize early momentum for pass rushers, lacks elite arm strength, can hinder his ability to consistently set his hands against defenders. He must improve in identifying and adjusting to blitz and pressure schemes. He relies on build-up momentum and may struggle to generate immediate power in tight spaces. Funny enough, the person who did the scouting report says that this person is a fit, that this player, Trapilo, is a fit for the Jets. And a schematic fit, WC with zone runs, I guess I forget the acronym there, but it's a zone run scheme. So I think the Jets might even be on board with that one.
Right. I see. Well, let's see. His pass protection looks like it looks a lot better than his run blocking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have an interesting thing that goes with that. What you said about his picking up. It says here he plays with his head down too much. That he needs to keep his eyes up. His height comes with some natural imbalance. And if you start to stunt and twist against him, he's very slow to turn. His comp is Walker Little. And his grades have gone up in the last 3 years. So he went from a 61.8 to a 74.9 to a 76.8. So he's worked hard, it seems like. And again, like you said, he allowed 5 sacks in 2022, and that went down to 0 in 23, and then 2 in 24. So, but again, his run block grade was only a 32 in the gap, or in man or gap, and then his run block grade in zone blocking, which is outside or inside zone, is only a 35. So if you're in a man or a zone blocking scheme, which basically all teams do, man blocking or zone blocking, obviously, because those are the two types, but 32, 35, but he's a better pass block at 66.
Okay.
And then any graded plays that PFF had that were negatively run, he's 49, which I don't know. It just seems like he's a better pass blocker than a run blocker, which is what that means to me. So
yeah, the numbers I guess tell different from whoever was writing the report, whether it's Alex or
Brian. No, I mean I'm sure they liked him as a fit, but I don't think he may be like like a depth piece.
Yeah,
a good depth piece, but I don't know if he'd grade out as a starter, so to speak. But again, young guys like this can improve with a good coach.
Absolutely.
You never know. I mean, there were plenty of guys that we thought maybe not great, but then turned into really good players. So,
yeah. And another guy I want to get into real quick, he's actually could play right tackle and right guard. I think some people mostly see him as a guard, but he can play tackle. This guy is Jonah Savinea out of Arizona, right tackle, right guard, 6'5", 330 pounds. This is actually somebody who I scouted. Phenomenal play strength. Let me give his stats also as well. 11 games with Arizona, 738 offensive snaps, 4 sacks, 2 hits, 9 quarterback hurries. Starting experience with both tackle spots and guards, so left, right tackle, and inside a guard. Run blocker with a mauler mentality, sound footwork and pass pro, solid hand placement, and phenomenal play strength, as I mentioned. His weaknesses lacks pullability, although he is a mauler, so technically sound could be better. And average quickness allows him to get beat inside. So those are the things to keep note of. And I did not have a pro comparison. I said he's probably a day 2 pick, whether it's in the mid to late second round or third round. Do you have any information on Savinea if you've
Yeah,
seen?
they compare. Well, they compare him to a player named Jermaine Eluminor.
Illuminor, he's on the
Illuminor.
Giants. He's
Yeah, yeah.
starter.
So they compare him to him. They give him substantial experience at tackle and guard, so he could play both positions. Competent pass protector, regardless of position. Active feet and pass protection, rarely caught on his heels. Engages hands quickly to deter outside rush. And then the weakness is lack of strength, shows in consistently below average run blocking. So again, another guy that can't run block or that doesn't run block as well. Trouble adjusting back to inside moves. Issues dealing with length due to lack of upper body strength. And then his overall grade, again, another guy who's went up since 2022. He started as 63.3 grade, then went to 69.1, and then ended 2024 with a 75.9. He allowed 4 sacks, where he allowed only 2 in 2022 and 2 in 2023. He only allowed 9 hurries. He allowed 12 in 22 and 11 and 23. His metrics are very bad against the run. So he's a 0 grade against man blocking and an 11 grade against zone blocking in the run, but 88 in pass blocking. So take that as you will. They say he's not good at in run blocking. So I don't know. Like you said, second, third round.
Yeah,
maybe,
probably.
So
obviously he'll need some work and probably a competition guy to start.
But obviously, the Giants guy, so apparently
Illuminor. Yeah,
he
he's been very good for them. He's been very good for the Giants. But if Savinea is anything like Illuminor, then we have a starter for the next 5-10 years.
Right.
It's probably like, again, technically sound stuff. You could have a mauler mentality, but if you're not technically sound, it doesn't work.
Right.
But
I've never seen an offensive lineman go in with a 0 rating in man blocking scheme against a man blocking scheme. That's not good.
That's wow.
And they usually grade, and the way PFF works, they grade every little snap is graded. So,
yeah, every little snap, every little finer detail.
Every little finer detail. So and just so everybody knows, I do work for PFF. So
yes, that is why Vinny's providing the insight.
Yeah, so that's one of those things that if you have a 0 in anything, that's not good.
That's awful.
Yeah, definitely.
But we highlighted some offensive line prospects a little bit. We did wide receiver prospects. We highlighted Tyler Warren. We also did Colson Loveland. Is there any prospects you want to hit off on real quick before we go to the mock?
No, not really. There's nobody really that. Unless you saw somebody like on the defense that you wanted to go over, or
I'll be honest with you, as our sentiment has
mostly
been
offense,
offense. I will not be happy if the Jets take a safety.
And by the way, there's not a lot of I think PFF only lists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 worthy linebackers to even put in their draft book, which actually their draft book is 671 pages. So
good Lord.
And to only get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 linebackers definitely means that it's not a very good linebacker draft this year. For sure.
No, I like Carson Schwarzenegger, but he's not a first rounder. He's like a second.
No, a lot of these guys they're even saying are not like first round. I mean, possible late second round, early third.
Yeah, round. I'm not into the linebackers. I'm not into edge or defensive line.
Again,
I'm not.
Yeah,
no safeties.
Again, linebacker is a position I think we're fairly good with. Especially, and I think, and the thing is that PFF listed us as needing an edge I
Maybe
don't know if necessarily maybe we need depth help at edge,
that's what I'm
but
thinking. Depth.
but I don't know. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So what we're going to do here is to end it off. We'll also talk about the prospects that we see on here as I pull it up. Just give me 1 second. I just want to close this out.
I mean, did you want to talk about any of the defensive backs
And
that were listed?
um,
I mean, there's
I
there's
think we're
quite a
going to do the
few
mock.
of those.
Yeah, interestingly enough, there are, but I will also add as well. I like what I want to do here personally is like when we go to 7 and when we go to all these positions, we'll talk a little bit
Hmm.
about what we see our prospects and what we can,
Yeah.
what are these prospects are, and maybe we could evaluate this way kind of interactively.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So let's see how this mock draft folds out. Let me just make sure everything's running correctly. It is, and we'll start. Right, give it a sec. Cam Ward to Tennessee at number 1. Giants take Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
And now this also, as we mentioned, we could do some trade offers if they make sense. We're not going to trade back all the time, but I don't think we're trading back with this offer. Second round pick and two
Not with the
sevens.
Chiefs, especially
No,
because
they're going to have
those
late
picks are
picks.
going to be late, and I know the quantity is there, but the quality of picks you're going to get is definitely not something we want to do.
Absolutely. So we'll look at our options here. We got we haven't done a specific position, although we know what we want in mind. We've got
Mhm.
Abdul Carter, who stunningly fell, Ashton Janty, Armand Membu, Tetaroa
Ooh, there we go.
McMillan, and Tyler Warren.
So they
So
all fell. What are the chances of them all? You asked me that question, and they all fell that far. I still think we take Warren at that pick.
yeah.
Um,
I know that the
um,
Jets, I was like reading reports and like they really it's like obviously it's draft season. They're gonna love every prospect available,
yeah, you're
but
going to get misinformation too. So you're not going to even
absolutely.
get So
You're not gonna get the real goods. But you know what? One pick I would absolutely flip out about at 7. No Jackson Dart.
no.
Absolutely not.
I don't really think that a quarterback in this at 7 is going to be, especially in this draft, because
Absolutely.
you'll get more value picking the quarterback. Even if you pick a quarterback later rounds, okay, I'll take that. But we need too much in order,
Way
to pick a
much.
quarterback at this point. So
Absolutely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draft Tyler Warren at 7. And they do give us grades, by the way. So we got an A
okay,
for that selection. It's just
of
gonna move up.
course, because that's the norm right there.
That's the
There you
consensus
go.
pick.
There you
Now
go.
our next pick is at 42. We could obviously offer to trade up, but I don't think we're going to do that. We're going to see offers
No.
for trade back scenarios, obviously.
Yeah,
So,
let's see. Yeah, let's see if anybody offers us a trade.
and
Which
then we'll offer some insight on some of these prospects that are available to us at 42. Raiders taking Jalen Milroe. That's interesting.
very.
Let's see. Higgins, very nice. Hampton. Okay. We don't, now we do have 3 trade offers. So,
Ooh, okay.
first of all, we got the Carolina Panthers, a 3rd, a 7th, and then 3 picks for next year. I'm kind of not with this one.
I'm not with that one either. Definitely not.
Our next team we have is the Atlanta Falcons. We're only going back 4 spots, and we're also getting a 4th round pick for next year.
Uh,
Would you table that and see what we have here?
I would table. I would table. I could. Well, obviously, you only get a certain amount of time to think about it. But
We don't. We don't actually. This is unlimited.
oh, okay. So
Oh boy.
I probably. Oh, did it crash?
Unfortunately the page crashed. So do you want to redo this real quick? We'll try to
Yeah. Let's try to
yeah,
get as close
I'll,
as possible.
yeah, I'm going to
Technical
speed up the
difficulties. You gotta
pace.
love them. You gotta love them.
Yes. All right, we're going to enter the draft
Watch
room and
Tyler
we'll,
Warren not
we'll
be there
pick.
at 7 on this one.
I will not be happy. So let me
Yeah.
share my screen. I apologize for that. It was the site. It had nothing to do with StreamYard or the platform itself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing an ad. We're going to close that out. Anyways, let's pull this up. We are back in the draft room. Folks, we were briefly kicked out of the draft room, but we're back. Anyways, let's, without further ado, start. This is gonna be a more of a fast pace. So we'll go back to the first round. We have the Seattle Seahawks who want to trade up. They're giving us 18, 82 and 2 extra picks. I'm not with this one.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to take that.
Okay, we also have 3 more. Kansas City
Kansas
Chiefs?
City.
No.
I have no interest in dealing with Kansas City at all, and not because I don't like them, just because of their picks.
And why would we even trade a first round pick for third round picks? That
Yeah,
makes
and
no
I
sense.
wouldn't. Yeah,
There's
definitely
got
not.
to be some sort of swap in there. Next one, we
Yeah,
got the
exactly.
Bills at
Buffalo.
30.
You want to trade within the division? A team
Not
that's
that
going to be
far
really
back.
good for the next few years.
Not listen. I'm all about
Yeah,
acquiring
not
draft.
at 30. Not at 30. No, definitely
I'm
not.
not doing that either. Final one. We got the Colts, who might be interested in the tight end. I might
14.
add.
14 is that 14?
14.
Yeah, it's not. That's not that much further back, but man, that's
Let's
a
check
tough
who's
one
there
too.
first. All right, at 7 we have Carter, we have Hunter, we have Genty, we have Will Campbell, we have Ted
Oh,
McMillan. No
everybody's there.
Membu.
Look at that.
I
But we
think we'll.
have Warren there.
I think we got to keep the pick and select Warren.
Yeah, I think so too. Although people will say that we're stupid for passing off of Carter and Hunter, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, Hunter's not a bad option for wide receiver purposes, but obviously, what do you do with tight end? I'm not tight end,
Right,
excuse me,
exactly.
cornerback.
Corner,
But
right.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm also. I love Abdul Carter. He's a great prospect. He really showed out against Notre Dame when he had a bum shoulder.
Right.
I'm not drafting another edge
But I don't
until the
think
later rounds.
I don't think edge is a necessary thing there. I mean, we got Jermaine Johnson coming back. We got,
Yeah.
we do have Will McDonald. So I think we're okay taking Warren at 7.
Tyler Warren is picked, and once again, fast pace. So give it a sec. Just Agabuka goes to 18. I'm just gonna look at these picks as well. McMillan falls all the way to 19. Now, the Tampa Bay Bucks would have McMillan and a McMillan. They have Jalen and they have Ted. That's an
Wow.
interesting one.
That receiving room would be amazing if they end up getting Ted McMillan at that pick, by the way.
Texans would pick Kelvin Banks. Boy, do they need offensive line help after trading Tunsil.
Yeah, definitely.
Collins, that's a very good pick for the Giants for depth purposes. We are here. Ooh, I really, 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 really like Gray Zabel here at 42. We don't have any offers, surprisingly. But Gray Zabel is a great pick. We also got Derek Harmon, who fell from the first round. Donovan Jackson, Nick Scorton, in my opinion, and some people others' opinions as well. I think they say he's like a JFM in the aggregate. He can he can kind of play both in the inside and the outside, flexibility, good against the run and the pass, evenly so. So, Vinny, offer some insight. Do you have you viewed any of these prospects? I'll go down a little bit as well.
Zabel comps to Graham Barton. He's got an explosive first step, and I think he would be okay at that pick.
Yeah.
And then who you got there? Derek Harmon. Let me bring him up real quick. I have him here. Hold on one second.
Yeah, of course.
Shoot. Yeah. Defensive line. No, got to get down there to get the defensive line.
Pretty deep, as we said.
Yeah, Harmon 6'4", 313. Comps to Christian Barmore. Good arm length for the interior, quick first step and quick footwork. Best hands off the snap to get inside and dictate first moves, push, pull, and arm over moves, and are natural and smooth. Competitive player with a good motor. His weaknesses are build is naturally a little high-waisted. Pops up and loses leverage out of his stance. Lighter in the lower half at current weight. Club move could use more violence. And his grade was very good last year. He got an 83.9. He went up from a 59.8 in 2022. So he's been slowly going up. His run defense isn't great, and that's what we need.
Run defenders, yes.
He's more of a pass rush defensive lineman. So I would, man.
I wanted to personally tack with all the options we have here. My preferences are Zabel or
I
Nick
would go.
Jordan.
Yeah, I would go Zabel there. Just because you can never have enough offensive linemen.
I just
And
want to see if this dude plays tackle as well. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure. I'm
and
pretty sure he does. I
yeah,
could be wrong.
I don't like the fact that I would take Harmon, but we need a run stopper, and I don't think his run defense is good enough to warrant a second round pick. I mean, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I understand. Completely agree. And
Because we're gonna take
it appears that Zabel does play both inside spots at guard
so
and tackle.
then look at this. Then you get a real versatile group.
Offensive.
So I probably would go with Zabel.
All right, let's see what they give us. We pick Zabel, and they give us a B plus.
B plus. All right.
All right. So our next pick is at 73.
I wonder if Harmon would have been an A, but I don't know.
And he went the next pick after.
He went the next pick after. Okay.
Yeah. It looks like the Cowboys got Scatabo.
Scatabo. That name's been mentioned a lot lately.
Okay, so just waiting. Jalen Noel, Buffalo. That's a great fit. Milrow to Houston. I really don't see that.
No, he's gonna sit. He's gonna sit behind what's his name?
Stroud.
A long time. Yeah. I don't know.
Darius Alexander. He's a beast. He would be awesome in Buffalo.
Yeah, he would be.
Williams. I forget his first name, but I know of.
So let's look at positions of need here too, because
we got him right here, actually, right on the Jets team needs.
So
offensive tackle, defensive line. We have not hit on. I'm sorry to interrupt. We haven't hit on wide receiver yet.
Okay, so let's look up. I've heard that the name Higgins definitely.
I think he's a big body receiver.
Yeah. Let's see.
Trey Harris, I think, is also a bit of a big receiver as well.
Trey Harris too. Yeah, they're both pretty big guys. Let's go Higgins first. Oh, you know what? PFF doesn't even have. Oh yeah, they do. Jaden Higgins. Sorry. 6'4", 217.
Oh
so,
boy. Looks like our page crashed again. All right. Fine. We're gonna do 3 times in Trump. We're not doing NFL mock draft database. I gotta find a
try. Well, let's see. Let me see. I know PFF has one too.
Yeah, but they're that's 3 rounds.
Yeah.
If you're not on premium,
I have premium. If you want to, because I get mine for free. So
yeah, if you want, you could share your screen, and we could do it that way. Because it's funny, because I was on another podcast the other night, and my buddy Armin was showing the NFL mock draft database. It kept crashing on him. Right. And I'm like, well, obviously not the first time. So let me know when you're ready to pull it up, and then we'll actually do this the proper way.
Select your team. Yeah, this. Oh, come on, man. No, it's not what I wanted. Damn it. Okay, let's go back. Hold on. I'm trying to run off of a smaller screen here, so it's a
gotcha.
Let's see. Come on.
But while this happens, folks, if you haven't already hit that like button, subscribe. More episodes of the Gangrene Chronicles podcast coming out. Obviously, talking draft. We previously talked free agency. More to come, folks. More to come.
Okay. Let's present screen. Let's see. Window. This one. Share. Okay. Are you seeing it? It's not. Is it not showing?
Oh, hold on. I got it.
Okay. Good.
Perfect.
All right. Okay. So this is the
final time
version. All right. I need to make it a little bigger. And
Yeah.
there we go. Okay. So
7 rounds.
so
I
7
Yeah, you
rounds.
just got to scroll up a little bit.
Okay. 7 rounds. Okay. Do we want like turbo fast? How fast do we want to
We
do
could
this?
do turbo.
Okay. Um and then it does a little bit of advanced stuff like positional value. Do we want positional value to be less or more?
We could do middle, honestly. Like
Middle.
put it right
Okay.
in the middle.
Okay. And then draft for needs heavy, like real heavy, or do we want to go down a little bit or
I think we should middle it as well.
middle down as well? Okay, so that
I
looks like
think
a
the
middle for me.
also keep the randomness it is because that's
That one, okay, because
we want a little bit of surprise, not a ton of surprise.
okay, all right, good. All right. So
Let's. We've been kicked out of the draft room, folks, for the
let's
second
try
time.
to we'll try to enter the draft here too now. All right. So on the clock. So let's start draft.
Wow.
So it looks like that was pretty quick.
Yeah, very quick.
So it looks like Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, and Jade Barron goes in 6. Wow, that's a different one.
That's the element of surprise.
That is definitely the element side. But I'm still going.
Warren,
I still think
why
we
not?
got to go Warren at 7. So okay.
Right.
So then let's go up a little bit and see what happened up here in the previous rounds here. So
Colston Loveland to the Lions next to Sam Laporta.
Yeah. So we had after us it was Genty going to the
Panthers.
Membu going to the Saints, Campbell going to the Bears, Jalen Walker going to San Francisco, which they need help on defense because their defensive grade last year was not good. And then Golden going to the Cowboys, pairing them up with CD. Jahad Campbell to the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Shamar Stewart to the Colts.
I like Shamar Stewart.
Tet dropping down to 15. I like that for them just because now they've got Penix, gives them another receiver to throw to. Makes
kind of the same prototype though. McMillan's a big body receiver, just like
Drake
London.
Drake London, yeah, but I don't know. And Kyle Pitts hasn't really
popped off
as he should. Will Johnson to the Cardinals, Michael Williams to the Bengals, Kenneth Grant to the Seahawks, which they need defensive help. Mike Green to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Josh Simmons to the Broncos. Egbuka to the Steelers, which they need receiver help. I'm sure Sean would be happy with that. Malachi Starks very good safety. I don't know if 22 that I don't know, but I think their need is at safety too. So Zabel going to the Packers at 23. So Hampton to the Vikings, Banks to the which actually makes more sense than the other.
Yeah,
place, I think. Nolan to the Rams. I'm not going to pronounce that name because
Ezaraku. He's a very good edge rusher. I like his tape.
And then Loveland to the Lions. Pierce to the Commanders, the Commanders. Booker to the Bills. Connerly Jr. to the Chiefs.
They need a tackle after trading Tooney.
The safety, and then the safety to the Eagles. I'm on Worry. And then we start second round. Jackson Dart
to the Browns.
That's interesting. That is interesting. And then you had Nick Scorton to the Giants.
Versatile defensive lineman.
Ao Manor to the Titans, Alexander to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Burden to the Raiders, Derek Harmon, good pick for the Patriots there. Beck to the
Bears
there. Landon Jackson, Thomas, and then us. So available. We have Demetrius Knight, the linebacker. I don't think we want to take a linebacker second round. So our TJ Sanders. Our positions in need, they say, are quarterback, wide receiver, tackle, and defensive lineman.
I would
think that
check what tackle's looking like.
um, Xavier Watts,
That would be a
safety.
great pick because I'll
Um,
be honest, I'm not content with the Jet safety room at all.
yeah, me neither. There's a lot of corners here. Let's go down a little further. Edge, linebacker, halfback, wide receiver. Shamar Turner.
Yeah.
Man, there's not a lot of offense. They don't have a lot. Oh, there's
Arante
Arseri.
Ursary.
Yeah, so I don't
I'm
know. What do
I'm
you think?
I must add, I would go to the trade tab because it says the number 5. It might be 5 should be right next to draft a player under the New York Jets name. Go to your left.
My left. Okay.
Go up and to your right just a little bit, just a pinch. Keep going. Go down just a tad. You see draft a player?
Oh yeah.
Right next. There we go. It says
Trade.
trade.
Oh, there's
Now, so it says select the trade. I don't know if there's like offers. I'm interested to see. You can obviously create your own offer, but I don't know what the Bengals are offering. That's my thing.
Okay, so the Bengals look like. Let's see.
They're just listing the rest of their picks.
They're just listing the rest of the picks. They're not listing really
what they want.
Yeah. So
I would pass.
This is kind of like
Yeah, we'll just go back to draft a player. I'm personally on. I like Xavier Watts at safety, although Jaden Higgins sounds nice.
Yeah.
I'm stuck between those two because I'm a big Notre Dame fan. I'm kind of leaning toward. Also, like, what's offensive tackle looking like? Because we need one.
Let's see. Again, the only tackles that were listed were we had
Ursary. But do we take the chance and say, you know what, maybe he's there at
Donovan Jackson?
You know what? I would honestly wait till 73, excuse me. That's the risk, but
right. So it's probably either Higgins or
Watts.
He's
such a good defensive playmaker, though. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
I'll go Watts. I don't like drafting safety. Yeah, I don't like drafting usually safety this early. I think Watts is an exception, though.
Yeah, Watts. Good. Okay, so we'll take Watts. And I think it grades you after.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, there's a lot of Texas guys just went so ahead of us. So Ursary went to the Giants.
We still have, if I'm not mistaken, the guy from Ohio State, Donovan Jackson.
So Skidabo went to
Washington.
The Commanders. Travion Henderson.
To the Lions. That's
good halfback. Good halfback though. I think he was decent last year.
Yeah.
Schweisinger, the linebacker.
He's a good Levante David replacement.
Yeah. Higgins went to the Bengals. So they got Jaden Higgins, T. Higgins, and if they go by this, Jaden T. and Jamar Chase. Jaden T. Jamar. I'm not going to go back towards the top. I'm just going to kind of go a few more. But let's
see if we got a tackle. I would, because we waited this long. Yeah. We got to get a tackle somewhere.
Okay, so let's go down.
I think obviously it says filter positions. So
right, I'll do. Let's see. Filter positions, and what do we want? You want a tackle here?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, let's see what offensive. Oh, I just had it. Damn it!
Yeah,
there it is. Right there.
Perfect. Trapilo.
So Trapilo is there.
That's great value, honestly.
Bao is there, and Savini is there.
Yeah, Savina.
Yeah, Savina.
Wyatt Millam's also good, but I think you could wait a little bit.
Cameron Williams, probably wait there, and Charles Grant. So yeah, I think we get offensive lineman there. I think we get Trapilo there.
I like that.
Yeah.
And our next pick is 110, so it's a fourth rounder. We went tight end, we went safety, we went offensive tackle. I think we got to go wide receiver.
Wide receiver. So let's see what receivers are around here. Let's see. Oh, that
Devin Neal's a good player. I don't think we need
Devin,
him yet.
yeah, Devin Neal's a good player. So Torrey Horton.
Looks like we're gonna have to wait unless
Pat
there's
Bryant. Wow, Kobe Hudson, Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams, I did see play for Washington State a little bit last year. He's not bad, but not worth fourth round.
No,
for sure.
Unfortunately, we played this like we're gonna have to wait again. So let's see what's another position we could attack. Want to go defensive line or?
Yeah, let's try defensive line. Let's go. Let's go defensive line.
Interior. Aeneas Peebles, I really like.
Aeneas Peebles, Jamari Caldwell, JJ Pigui, and Riley Mills, your boy from Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think you could wait for him, but if you want my honest opinion, I really like Aeneas Peebles. He's undersized, but he plays better than his size. He's like well versed in both the run and the pass.
Let's see if PFF has him graded as 89.1. So again, another guy, 2022 started out 65.8 and then worked on his he only had 3 sacks, but looks like he's more of a run guy, run defense. Oh well, no. Well, looks like a little bit. Well, 78.5 on the run defense grade isn't bad. So yeah, I think he seems like he'd be a good one for the fourth round. So you want to take him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's take him. See what else we got. So now position of now we got to go receiver, right?
We don't have a choice now, I don't think.
Yeah, we probably should. Let's see. So Bryant,
he's more of a jump ball receiver. So
let's see what they have him as. They have him at 86. Again, another guy. Well, his grade went down a little bit in 23. Had a rough season, looks like, and then he kind of bounced back big time. Some of his games listed here. Didn't play well against Penn State. Didn't play well against Oregon. Played better against Michigan State. Played really good against Rutgers. And then Northwestern 76.4. So, and these are his advanced stats.
Yeah.
On his advanced stats. So, and then let's compare him to Williams. So he's not bad. The problem with Williams, did not play against great competition last year. Pac-12 was not that great last year. So he played horrible against Washington and that defense, and that Washington defense, and trust me, I'm a Washington fan, was not good.
No, they were terrible.
So 58.1, I don't like that, but that was in the beginning of the year. Against the no really not a very good school, 89.6. Okay, that's fine, but I would say if we're gonna take one, I'd take Bryant.
Yeah, I agree.
Over Williams, and then there's let's look at another guy, Tesla, from Arkansas.
He was at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, so wow, his grade was 69.1. Didn't play in 22. Let's see his advanced statistics. 277, 7 deep catches, 17 screen yards, slot yards. So it looks like he played more in the slot or got more catches in the slot. So this looks like more of a slot receiver. Anything else?
I'll pass.
So I think we go Bryant then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you want to go? So round 5, do you want to start looking for a quarterback?
Let's see what's available. Yeah.
Okay.
You obviously could, you could press that, filter all positions.
McCord's available. McCord. I like him. I'm a big fan of his. But do you take him in the 4th round? Is that good value? So
we're in the 5th, actually. So yeah.
Oh, in the 5th. So average draft position is 170. We're at
62. It's like not far
164.
off, honestly.
Not far off. I think, man, I really do want McCord. And again, he's going to be a guy that he's going to have to work. His grades, I mean, look at his grade in 24. I mean, 90.5. You know, he had some bad games in there.
But
look what he did. I mean, Washington State wasn't good last year, but Miami wasn't great, I guess. But I mean, he throws the
Miami
deep
was
ball
only
well.
good. I remember that Miami-Syracuse game because Miami's defense was terrible. Cam Ward was throwing on the Syracuse defense. It was a shootout.
Right. And Syracuse's defense wasn't great last year at all. So
no.
But I mean, I don't know. That's the only thing is would we take, if we take McCord here, then you gotta figure somebody's gonna have to be probably like practice squatted or something, because it's either gonna be McCord or Travis. It'd probably have to be Travis, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? What's your thinking?
I think
what you're thinking on? You think so? I mean, he's here at fifth round. I think we take him.
Yeah, he's just kind of sitting right there.
So we take McCord. I don't think that's how it's going to shake out, though. But
no. Now I think this is more about depth. What depth positions do we need? We already tackled, I think, defensive line with I forget. I know we hit a defensive lineman somewhere.
We did.
It was Peebles. That's who it was.
Yeah.
So now we need maybe I'm trying to think. Like, do we go corner? Do we go interior offensive line? Do we go running back? I don't think we need a running back.
So Moheim's available from USC.
He could play center, and he's also an interior guy.
Emory Jones
fell pretty far. He's
we're not going to go, since we went quarterback last round. We're not going to go Rourke. And I'm not really interested in a major guy that's not going to play for. I mean, this guy's not even probably ready.
Yeah.
John Williams at tackle. You got Jalen Lane is there, like you said. Ty Felton's there.
Well, I like Ty Felton though. I can't lie to
you. Ty Felton. That's about the average right there, 182.
Because we only went
for Brady Cook.
Yeah, I no thank you.
Not a big fan of Brady Cooks, by the way. So Brosmer. No, I wouldn't go for him. I don't know.
I'm thinking either.
I mean, there's not really a halfback there either.
No, Ty Felton or Jonah Monheim. If you want to tack interior line depth, that's fine. But we have Josh Myers for the year, so
right. Yeah, I'd probably go with.
You could just draft.
I'd go Felton.
Let's grab another weapon.
Yeah,
why not?
Go Felton. Can't have enough of those, I guess.
And then 207 would be the finale.
So 207 on the clock. Again, Brady Cook. Not picked. I wonder why. Look at a lot of quarterbacks there. Conyers, Taj Brooks, Cameron Jackson.
He's not kind of nice.
He's good. I like him. Jake Majors, Jay Higgins at linebacker. I don't really. I think we could go without a linebacker in this draft.
Yeah, we really don't need one.
Dean Clark from Fresno State. Can't have enough safeties. 2 guards available, Frazier and Slater. Elijah Clark from Syracuse, safety. I would probably stay away from any Syracuse defensive players.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
So what do you think?
I'm thinking Miles Frazier's not bad for interior line depth. Let's see. We could go down a little bit. I don't know if we go running back. I like Cameron Jackson.
I like Cameron Jackson too. I think let's look at his stats. Pass rush. He's not a pass rusher. So
fine. We need a run guy.
We need a run guy. Anyway, his run defensive grade was 80.9. Obviously he's played against good. I mean,
competition.
He's a Florida State guy. Some of his grades against other teams, like he had a pretty decent grade against LSU. Decent grade against Florida State. Didn't have a great grade against Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss.
Not great against Texas, but he's average. Like this light yellow line means he's been
Yeah, of
average.
course. It's like at
Um,
the least he's
right.
average. At the most he's
Yeah.
very good or like
Exactly.
solid. I'll
Exactly.
take that chance.
Yeah. So I think we're good there. So Cameron Jackson. So let's go Cameron. Oh, did the wrong button. Draft. Let's see what they give us.
This is gonna be fun.
And
All
I'll have
right.
2 new rewards. All right. So it said we should have taken Tet
I disagree.
as a better need.
I like Tyler. I like Tet, but no, not exactly.
I mean,
I understand where they're coming from.
I think it's semantics there, though.
Yeah, it's semantical.
I don't think. I think we could have went either way there.
A C?
So they gave us a C on Warren. I think they thought that we needed McMillan more.
That's
because they didn't have tight end. PFF didn't have tight end as a need for us either,
but
which I disagreed with from the very beginning too.
I don't know how you can see that. How you can't see that with Stone Smart and Jeremy Rucker.
Well, which is why I don't always agree with PFF, even though I work for them. I definitely don't agree with them.
Absolutely, you don't have to.
But we did better down the road. Look at that. We did B- again with Xavier Watts, A- with Trapillo.
Great value there.
Peebles,
Kyle McCord, great value.
Kyle McCord, A-. Come on, man. Ty Felton, B. So we averaged, we averaged a B. Draft rank top 54 of all Jets drafts. I'll take that.
I will take that as well.
And we should save that because I think we did a great job.
Okay, so what Vinny is going to do is he's going to save that.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to download that. But
absolutely. But while you download that, Vinny, do you have any final thoughts? Anything else you'd like to
add?
No,
man, this has been really fun. I think the Jets have a lot of needs, and I don't think, you can go wrong real quick if you don't pick. Obviously, it's like that with everybody. If you don't pick the right guys, you can go wrong, obviously. But we have to see how. This is Muji's first draft with us.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see, because we kind of got into the thing with Douglas where we knew kind of where he was gonna go, whereas now we don't really know Muji. I think he seems like he's a very like they took Bo Nix last year when everybody said they were crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but he wasn't the head GM. But
no,
maybe there's a surprise. Maybe he surprises us with a pick. But I think we got to let him do what he needs to do. I know we're probably not going to agree with every pick either.
Oh, absolutely. That's
the Jets fans need to calm down and say, hey, we're not going to agree with every single pick, and we don't have to. But let's see how it all works out. Again, it's wait and see. You got to have the wait and see approach.
Yeah, definitely. This has been obviously draft time is going to be really interesting. We'll see if we can have some guests on and whatnot. But fun going through all the draft. We did the 3 times the charm, twice on mock draft database. Proven it hasn't worked. And then you have PFF. Luckily, Vinny works with PFF. It was free and also I'd like to thank Vinny for that. But also, thank you, Vinny, again, once again, as my great co-host, providing some great draft insight.
Well, I don't know about great, but I'm good.
No, good enough. Obviously,
good
we
enough.
haven't talked about it, but
that's
great,
right.
Awesome insight. But regardless, if you've made it this long, folks, hit the like button, subscribe. Also, turn on the notification bell so you know when I go live, or I should say when we go live and we drop a new video. More content coming. Maybe we throw in a stream in there or whatnot. We'll obviously keep you updated in the community notes regards to potential guests and stuff like that. But regardless, folks, it's been wonderful. It's been fun. This has been episode 2 of the Gangrene Chronicles podcast, and we'll catch y'all later.